Islam's a problem. Leaving your citizens defenseless is a problem. Not allowing your citizens to defend themselves from all of these people that we're importing in is a problem. No, actually, you'd be wrong if you're listening to the Prime Minister, because the Prime Minister actually condemns something quite different than what you're thinking.
Director General of Asia has warned about a range of threats, be it anti-Semitism, the rise of right-wing extremist groups as well.
Even the Islamic terror attacks, somehow it's the right-wing extremists' fault. Welcome to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Obviously, there is a lot going on today. There was a lot that transpired over the weekend, and I want to try to get to it all, but I'm sensing a common theme here. And I want you to follow along at home, and you tell me when you sense this theme. We'll go through what happened in Australia first. Yesterday, 2 gunmen opened fire on a Hanukkah event at Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia. They murdered 15 people. And here you see one of them. These were actually, you're going to be shocked to hear this, Islamic terrorists. Yep. Sajid, he's 50 years old. His son, also a Star Wars name that I won't try to pronounce, 24 years old. And officers shot the 50-year-old at the scene. The younger one suffered critical injuries and was hospitalized. But they were clearly very proficient with firearms. They fired off 4 shots in 5.2 seconds with a bolt-action rifle. And in total, they had 100 shots that were fired in the area in less than 6 minutes. You're also going to be shocked to hear this now that you've heard that they were Islamic terrorists. This was an act of terror, actually. So you're going to be very shocked to hear they targeted Jews. Victims included a rabbi, children, and a Holocaust survivor. And so when you look into what just happened in Australia and how horrific it was that these men were able to unleash so much, just awful, evil behavior, there are a lot of people that are saying that the police arrived on the scene like 7 minutes after the shooting began, which is still, by the way, too late for me. But I want to play an eyewitness who claims the police, even when they were there and still didn't do anything inexplicably. Watch.
Can you tell me what happened?
Yes, there was 2 shooters, one on the bridge, one under the bridge. Just start to shoot for 20 minutes. They shoot, change magazine and just shoot. Simple as that. 20 minutes was 4 policemen there. Nobody gave fire back. Nothing, like they are froze.
Now, again, things are happening very quickly. If you are in the middle of a shooting happening, a terrorist attack happening, like maybe he's misremembering something, maybe, I get it. There are conflicting reports here, but it kind of jives with what happened, what we actually know happened at the location, which was it took an unarmed bystander to charge one of the shooters and wrestle his gun away. Like it was a random unarmed hero who decided, I'm tired of watching all of these people get shot. I'm just going to try to just see if I can grab the gun myself and just take it away from him so he can stop killing all of these people around me, because I guess the police don't have that type of bravery or something. Here's that.
Oh! Oh mon gros! Oh!
And you'll notice he actually just lets him run away instead of killing him or shooting him so that he didn't continue injuring others. I guess that's what you got to be afraid of in Australia. I guess in Australia, you have to be worried if I shoot him, people might get mad at me. So I better just let him go. Now, this guy, this hero, he was injured. He was shot once in the arm, once in the shoulder. And the shooter, like, got away. But obviously, this was a deterrent. Doesn't have to be this way, guys. Australia, you don't have to live like this. This is a choice. This is a choice that countries make to make you defenseless, especially when you have terrorists that are coming into your country. Now, these people, I mentioned that they were doing this for the Islamic State. They had pledged allegiance to the Islamic State. They have a background. They dabble in a little ISIS, we'll say. These people, these men dabbled in ISIS. Now, the Australian Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, claimed that there's no evidence. This is what they always want to say. There's no evidence of any collusion. ISIS good, I guess. ISIS never, they didn't, listen, there's no evidence that these people were part of a cell, but they were clearly motivated by extremist ideology. So they're like, listen, ISIS isn't claiming responsibility for these guys. Maybe they were like the people who were trying to get into the ISIS club and they didn't actually make it in. We don't know for a fact that this was ISIS. Please, God, don't blame the terrorists. What's the world coming to when you got to blame the terrorists for some little terrorism? Now, imagine being the prime minister, which let me just tell you, as I go through all of this, you probably are going to come to the same conclusion as I am, that like this guy has no balls. Like this guy's a total loser, a total freaking loser with no balls to stand up for his own people. Now, I say this because imagine he puts out this statement, even though Australia's domestic intel agency, ASIO, investigated the Sun in 2019 for 6 months. What for, you may ask? Oh, for connections to a Sydney-based Islamic State terror cell. Like they did an investigation into him for connections to this terror cell, but don't worry, they're not connected. And then also on top of that, according to senior officials of Australia's Joint Counter-Terrorism Team, they anonymously said that 2 ISIS flags, 2 Islamic State flags were found in their car parked at Bondi Beach. But other than that, I mean, like, listen, other than the flags and other than the fact that the Sun was already, like, they already knew in 2019 that he was connected to this terror cell because they did an investigation into him. And other than the actual perpetrators just saying it, other than that, there's no credible evidence to suggest that this was an ISIS-related attack. What are you, xenophobic? What are you, Islamophobic? There's no evidence other than all of the stacks of evidence that we have that this was an Islamic terrorist attack. Now, you may be asking yourself at this point in the game, I hear Australia, it's pretty hard to get guns there. So how is it that these guys got the guns? Because you'll notice that none of the people who were shot were able to pull out a gun and defend themselves. It's very hard to do in Australia. So how did the terrorists end up being the ones to get the guns? It's extremely hard. There are very few ways that you can get it. In fact, semi-automatic rifles and handguns, semi-automatic handguns, are extremely regulated in Australia. High-capacity shotguns are extremely regulated in Australia. You can get a bolt-action rifle, as you saw there, but you have to have a reason to own any gun. You have to get the permission slip signed. You have to specify a reason. The reason isn't because I want one, like it is here in America. Well, it's mostly here in America, like it's supposed to be here in America, but sometimes isn't. It's not always. But you have to have a very specific reason. So permissible reasons from the Australian government include sport and target shooting, recreational hunting and vermin control, vertebrate pest animal control, business or employment, rural occupation, animal welfare, and firearms collection. By the way, lacking from that list, self-defense. That's like the reason for me. It's like, I don't know, because if someone comes up and tries to cause harm to my family, I want to be able to shoot them dead. By the way, I'm aiming to kill. I'll just be real honest with you. If you guys come up and you guys are threatening my life or my family's life, I'm going center mass. That's all there is to it. So how is it that these guys, if nobody around them had guns, there were no law-abiding citizens that were able to have guns, these guys did have guns. In fact, the dad was a licensed firearms holder for the past 10 years. He owned 6 of them. Guess how many they found at the scene? All 6 firearms were at the scene. It turns out, when you make it very difficult for law-abiding citizens to get guns, do you know what happens? It's just the bad guys who end up going through the long and difficult process in order to obtain them. And that's how you end up with the bloodbath that you ended up with in Australia. Now, there are so many different pieces to this particular puzzle because it's not just the, making your citizenry defenseless thing. It's also the, maybe don't bring radical Islam into your country thing. So let's get into that part. In the country of Australia, there were already plenty of warning signs that radical Islam has really, really grabbed hold there. You had 4 months ago, protesters held Islamic State flags in Sydney, and they were just chanting death to the IDF. But other than that, there were no warning signs. Okay, well, you might watch that and you'd go like, okay, but they're talking about the military. They don't actually want innocent Jews. Maybe they say the military's bad. Just the average citizen Jews are good. They don't want all Jews to die, right? Well, I don't know. You tell me, because one day after the October 7th Hamas attack, October 8th, you had a bunch of protesters gathering in Australia chanting, just things like gas the Jews and Allahu Akbar. And F the Jews. Oh, okay. Well, I guess it turns out it's not just the IDF that they want killed. It's just all Jews. So that's how it's going over there in Australia. Who could have possibly predicted? That it would end this way? On top of that, there were like over 300,000 people who all gathered back in August. They all gathered in Sydney to show their solidarity with Gaza. Yeah, here's that. Over 300,000 people taking to the streets to show their solidarity with the people in Gaza. Guys, again, I say this just like what we are doing here in the United States. This is a choice. It's a choice that these countries are making. It's a choice that Australia is making. Now, I know with this dad, it's a choice that they made a long time ago because he came on a visa to Australia, I believe it was 1998. His son was actually born there. But you know what? I even think, I have an inkling that you might be involved with a terror cell. There's just like no free passes. There's no like, oh, I don't know, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I'm not sure. Like, we've got to find a way to clamp down on that here in the UK, in Australia, in all of these places where apparently all of these Islamists are pouring in. Why? Because they want to conquer. This will literally happen every single place. Every place a country decides that they are going to import these people, this will keep happening. Now, if you have more than two brain cells to rub together and you've heard all of what happened and you understand like, oh, okay, so Islam's a problem. Leaving your citizens defenseless is a problem. Not allowing your citizens to defend themselves from all of these people that we're importing in is a problem. No, actually, you'd be wrong if you're listening to the Prime Minister, because the Prime Minister actually condemns something quite different than what you're thinking.
Director General of Asia has warned about a range of threats, be it anti-Semitism, the rise of right-wing extremist groups as well. And we continue to work closely with our security agencies. And I want to conclude finally by saying that the government is prepared to take whatever action is necessary. Included in that is the need for tougher gun laws.
Right-wing extreme. Isn't it that pesky right-wing extremism is kind of to blame for literally everything in life? Even the Islamic terror attacks, somehow it's the right-wing extremists' fault. It's like, you guys were too right-wing. You were too right-wing. It's like the woman who gets beat by her husband. Well, she was asking for it, you know? She argued with me. I told her, get in the kitchen and make me a sandwich, and she didn't. So, I mean, really, it was her fault. She knew that would piss me off. She knew that I was really hungry. Why didn't she just do what the hell I told her to do? Like, this is giving that vibe. And on top of that, I'd love to know, how would you guys like to make Australian gun laws more strict? You guys already have some of the strictest gun laws in the entire world. And by the way, you see what happens when you leave your safety in the arms of random government officials who may or may not care, may or may not be invested in you living. This is exactly what happens. You end up with people giving interviews saying the police were there the whole damn time. I have no idea why they didn't take matters into their own hands sooner. I have no idea. I have no idea why they waited for some random innocent bystander to tackle this guy. They're the only ones with the guns. We are told, don't worry, the police will save you. Well, it turns out the police sometimes don't actually care about saving you, don't actually care about taking matters into their own hands, don't actually care about being heroes. Australia is a perfect representation of what happens when you, of course, have your citizens give up their arms, which is what happened after a 1996 shooting in Port Arthur. It left 35 people dead, dozens more injured, and the Australian government decided, we're going to do a gun buyback. Okay? You're going to sell us your guns, and we are going to destroy, which is what they did, approximately 650,000 newly prohibited firearms. That's what they decided to do. It doesn't have to be this way. This is a choice, and that choice is always deadly. You will notice, especially as I go through the next, after we go to break here, the next thing I want to get into, you will notice all these really deadly events with firearms. So strange. They seem to always happen in gun-free zones. Do you wonder why that is? Let me know. Also, make sure that you are subscribed to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Smash the like button and comment. Let us know. Are you getting the theme of this show yet? Let us know in the comments. It'll help us in the algorithm, which we know is stacked against us. And by the way, go ahead and give us a follow on audio podcast as well. And leave us a 5-star review. We deserve no less. We work hard here at Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. So I want to thank our sponsor, and then I want to get back into it, Jase Medical. So Jase Medical, I love Jase Medical because they have a medical like emergency kit for basically anything, even things that I had never even thought of. They've made three tactical first aid kits. These are designed by doctors and field medics: Jase Aid Mini, Jase Aid Medic, and Jase Aid Trauma. Each are designed to work together and cover common and serious emergencies and injuries. And they're holding a giveaway this week for all three Jase Aid packs on jase.com. So go to their website, enter for a chance to win. And every Jase product is actually eligible for any leftover HSA or FSA funds that you have. I don't know if you realize this, some expire at the end of the year, so don't let that money go to waste. Go to jase.com. Use promo code Sarah at checkout for a discount on your order. That is jase.com with promo code SARA. More deaths that could have been prevented happening in Providence, Rhode Island, when a gunman opened fire at Brown University over the weekend. This was Saturday. He killed 2 people, injured 9 others. And being that there are like hundreds of security cameras on campus, you would expect that there would be like a mass amount of security footage that they could use to try to clue in to who it was that did this. But so far, this is the only footage that was released of the suspect. It's like, sometimes I'm like, I don't, like, can we upgrade our cameras? Is there a reason we always have to have this like super grainy footage that nobody can really identify? What is the point? What is the point of that? So this is all that we have. There he goes. And one of the 2 casualties was sophomore Ella Cook. She was the vice president of Brown's College Republican Club. Couldn't say if it's related yet. Certainly interesting. And what's also interesting is, again, you have the police in Australia who can't make it. They just can't make it. They can't make it on time. They can't, even when they're there, they can't really, I mean, you can't trust them to act because, like, they have families too. Come on. What do you expect them to do? Jump in the line of fire? And it's literally their one job, but what do you expect them to do? You've got that happening in Australia. Just trust the police. They'll handle it, okay? Then you have, in America, a suspect taken into custody who was named Benjamin Erickson. Now, this man, this guy, his face was plastered all over mainstream media. His name, his background, he was in the military. Like, we knew all of these personal things about this guy named Benjamin Erickson. And we were like, they might as well have done we got him. But then a curious thing happened. Providence police actually just ended up releasing him from custody.
Shortly, we will be releasing the person of interest who had been detained earlier today. And the Attorney General can speak a little bit about the rationale for that. But we want to inform the community that that individual will shortly be released from Providence Police. Oh,
oopsies. Sorry for blasting you to the entire world and, turning your life upside down because we thought that we had the guy, and we thought that we had the guy so much so that we put all of this information out to all of mainstream media to blast you. And now it turns out the police have absolutely no idea who it is. No idea who it is. The suspect is still at large. There's no we do have that shitty surveillance footage. So, it should be really easy to figure out who it is because now we have the surveillance footage. There it is. Can't you tell exactly who that is? I'm sure the leads are just coming in after people are watching this grainy ass footage of this random person walking off. I am sure they're going to crack the case immediately. Okay. So obviously they still have no idea who this is. And the Rhode Island Attorney General apologized for the false detention, that's what we called it, of Benjamin Erickson. And here is that apology.
Certainly there was some degree of evidence that pointed to this individual. But that evidence needed to be corroborated and confirmed. And over the last 24 hours, leading into just very, very recently, that evidence now points in a different direction. So what that means is that this person of interest needs to be and should be released. I think what is really unfortunate that this person's name was leaked to the public. It's hard to put that back in the bottle, okay?
Oh, it's always a gun-free zone. It's always a gun-free zone. It's always a gun-free zone. It's always a gun-free zone if it's in Australia, if it's in this country, at a school, at an elementary school, at a college, at fill in the blank. It's always a gun-free zone. And now if you're the president of a college, that is a gun-free zone that actually ends up leaving all of these innocent students totally defenseless for any bad guys. It's like, I mean, the law-abiding citizens aren't bringing the guns because it's a gun-free zone. Who is bringing the guns? The criminals, because criminals going to criminal. And they're not going to follow your stupid gun-free zone signs. Now, you would think if you're the president of a college that is a gun-free zone, you would surely be investigating immediately for the safety of your school, right? Like, but that seems very obvious to me. But 6 hours after this shooting took place, this is what Brown University's president, Christina Paxson, had to say about what was going on in the classroom at the time of the shooting.
D.C. when it happened and flew right back, and I'm catching up right now.
President, with all due respect, 6 hours after this shooting, and you said you don't know what was going on in that classroom? How does that happen? Were they taking an exam? Were they meeting for a club?
I don't know. I don't know.
6 hours later, and you're the president, and you don't know?
I do not know.
Well, that's kind of concerning.
I mean, she doesn't know. Give her a break. How much is she getting paid? I'm sure quite a pretty penny to stand up there, deem your university a gun-free zone, and then 6 hours after people's lives are taken from them through no fault of their own, you just don't know. You don't know. You haven't been briefed. You haven't talked to anyone. You don't know. And on top of not knowing, you're going to walk up in front of a bunch of journalists, a bunch of reporters, in front of a bunch of cameras where they're recording you so you can say you just don't know. Like, why are you there? Why are you walking in front of my camera to tell me you don't know something? Seems kind of like just don't do the interview if you don't know. Just wait until you've been briefed, please, ma'am. No. She's going to march up there to tell you she just doesn't know. That's what you get if you send your children to a university in this country. They're going to get indoctrinated into being good little commies if they survive, because it's a gun-free zone. Now, I'm going to end with this. Democrats are very, very, they lack self-awareness. I have never had a high bar for them, but Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy shocked even me with his statement on this latest attack at Brown University. Watch.
Not shocking, because over the last year, President Trump has been engaged in a dizzying campaign to increase violence in this country. So he has been engaged in a pretty deliberate campaign to try to make violence more likely in this country. And I think you're unfortunately going to see the results of that on the streets of America.
That's a pretty big statement. He's in a campaign to make violence more likely?
Of course.
I'm sorry, what? Excuse me? Like, you guys are the ones, if you want to go there, we'll go there, Chris, okay? We'll go there. You guys are the ones who keep killing us. You guys are the ones who keep shooting at us. So, I mean, if we had any sort of survival skills at all, which I'd like to believe that we do, we wouldn't be the ones who are advocating for something that makes us less safe. Of course, we are advocating for something to make us more safe. You guys are the ones who think the gun-free zones are a good idea. Okay, I feel very grateful to live in the state of Texas, where there are very few gun-free zones. You would like to make the entire country a gun-free zone. And would you like to see how that happens, how that works in reality? Go look at Australia over the weekend, Chris. That's the end reality of a gun-free zone. It's like this every time, like clockwork. Oh, oopsies, it turns out the gun-free zone is exactly where the criminals go and know that they can just kill, because who's going to stop them? I mean, the police might, but they'll be here in about 10. Until then, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. This is what happens every time you disarm your citizenry. I want to thank our sponsor, PreBorn, this segment. We are approaching Christmas very quickly. And as we approach Christmas, I'm just saying, if you need to get a last-minute gift, why not the gift of life? I can't think of a better present than the gift of life. PreBorn is so great because they're showing women the truth on ultrasound. It's very simple. They're showing a woman who is young. She has an unplanned pregnancy. She doesn't know what she's going to do. She's probably being told by people around her, you can't do this on your own. You don't have enough money for this. You're too poor. And PreBorn just shows her the truth. This is your baby. They let her listen to the heartbeat. And in that moment, she's twice as likely to choose life. So I'm just saying this Christmas for $28, you can help save a life. And now there's a special matching grant. Your gift is going to be doubled. So you pay for one ultrasound, that's 2 babies' lives saved. How many ultrasounds can you help us with? How many babies' lives can you save? You can go to preborn.com/Sarah, donate securely before the end of the year for that tax-deductible donation. Preborn.com/Sarah. Joining me now to discuss more, we have our panel today, Matthew Marsden, Blaze TV contributor and actor and producer extraordinaire, along with Adam Johnson. He is, of course, everyone's favorite insurrectionist, also author of Taking a Stand. I appreciate both of you guys being here, especially because there's just there's a lot going on. I just talked about what was happening in Australia and then moved over to Brown University. And then on top of all of that, we have FBI Director Kash Patel, who announced earlier this morning that the FBI had arrested 4 individuals who were accused of plotting New Year's Eve bombings in Los Angeles. You guys are not going to guess. You're not going to guess who they were or nationality or what their intention was. Is they were Palestinian. And he said over the weekend, the FBI disrupted a credible imminent terrorist threat and arrested 4 individuals connected to the Los Angeles area, that they are a radical offshoot of the Turtle Island Liberation Front, an extremist group motivated by pro-Palestinian, anti-law enforcement, and anti-government ideology. They were allegedly planning coordinated IED bombing attacks on New Year's Eve, targeting 5 separate locations across Los Angeles. And in the days since, FBI New Orleans arrested an additional 5th individual believed to be linked to this group. But don't worry, keep importing the third world. It's totally fine. Let's just roll the dice and see what happens. It's never connected to more terror groups or more violence or more sex crimes or more misconduct. It's totally fine. Just keep importing the third world and we're just going to see what happens, because what could possibly go wrong, Adam?
Well, I think an interesting point is that the places they always choose to attack are soft targets. It's always large cities, and that may be because they want to have the largest outcome of casualties. But being a soft target is why they're choosing it. When you have these anti-gun laws, when you have the rights stripped from citizens, you don't have the protections that are given to us so we can protect our lives and those around us. So if we're not going to stop the importation of these people who mean to do us harm, who don't want to coincide with our beliefs and lifestyles, we should begin to genuinely assessing what it means to be safe and maybe restoring some of our constitutional rights in these cities.
Yeah, no, you're totally right, Adam. Because, we just have Australia, not technically a gun-free zone, but pretty darn close. They make it very, very difficult for law-abiding citizens to own weapons. Brown University, gun-free zone. Matt, you can speak to the gun-free zone that is Los Angeles, California. It's peculiarly keeps happening where it makes it very easy, as to Adam's point, as Adam said, to make it very easy for the terrorists to be like the only ones with the guns.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, firstly, what we have to recognize is that even in Muslim countries in the Middle East, they do not allow these people to come into their countries because they're not stupid. They're not bound by the political correctness that we are. And they're like, listen, these guys are extremists. No, you're not coming into the country. And so whenever there is any kind of accusation of racism, we should just really point to that. Like, why aren't these people allowed in all these other countries? That's the first thing. Secondly, I do want to talk about the gun issue, because even Australia, even though it's massive, it is not bordered by anything, right? It's not bordered by anything. America is bordered on both the north and the southern borders. So, you've got Canada to the north and you've got Mexico to the south. So even if you wanted, let's just say we decided that we were going to ban all guns, we can't even stop illegal people from coming over the border. So we're not going to stop illegal guns from coming over the border. And there you have the problem, again, Sarah, where we are disarming the law-abiding citizens and allowing the criminals to have guns.
Right.
It doesn't work. And also, by the way, there is this thing where we look more so from their side, more so from Australia and England's side and Great Britain's side, is they look at us and they go, oh, we're the same, right? Because we speak the same language. No, we're not. We're a very, very different country. And you can see right now what is happening with the infringement on free speech over in the United Kingdom. We are not the same. So we shouldn't look at each other as being the same. We are, I think Oscar Wilde says, we are two countries separated by a common language, but we're actually separated by a lot more than that.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. I also wanted to just briefly mention, just because we're talking about, it just feels very heavy right now. Like the air is very heavy with what happened in Australia, what happened at Brown, like I was mentioning. And then you had what happened with Rob Reiner. He and his wife, Michelle, were both found dead in their homes with their throats slit. And now they are saying that the suspect is in custody and it's their son, one of their sons. And it's just like, man, I'm not going to speak about Rob Reiner's politics or anything like that. This is like, it just feels really dark right now, right before Christmas of all the times. Matt, I kind of wanted to mention it because I didn't know if you knew him, if you had any run-ins with him, just being that you are, of course, recovering Hollywood actor.
I believe I did meet him once many years ago. I mean, obviously, he's a massively talented person, regardless of his politics. And I mean, he did some. If you look at his film career across the different movies that he's done every different genre. He was like super, super talented. But, you've got to be really careful in Hollywood on what you prioritize. So to me, I prioritize my family. And I think if you're looking out there, there are a lot of kids that are dysfunctional. And you have to kind of wonder why that is. I mean, it is a tragedy. And I think, and I said this on social media, that the majority of conservatives that I've seen, I mean, there's obviously been a couple that haven't, that come out on social media and they said this is a real tragedy and we've got to put that to one side, the politics to one side, and mourn a great filmmaker. And it really is a massive tragedy.
Yeah. Adam, I'll give you just, if you want to give your thoughts.
Yeah, so there are tragedies and travesties, and we can look at this and say it is a tragedy. When someone dies of patricide, it's a tragedy. Death is awful, and especially when it comes to the hands of your children. But we have to look past the tragedy and understand the travesty was, there are good people who raise kids who turn out to be bad, and there are bad people who raise kids who turn out to be good. But we could see statistically that if you pour evil into someone, you will have an evil outcome. And we see the travesty of raising children to believe there are things they are not. We see the travesty of raising children to believe things that are not morally good. And then I can't sit here and be surprised when we see the outcomes like this happen. It is a tragedy, but if we don't take into account the travesty of raising children in these immoral type of lifestyles in households, we're missing the whole point, and we're destined to find the same results on a long enough timeline.
Yeah, it certainly feels, Matt, like that was the kind of what you were alluding to, is like, and again, this is awful. This is terrible. Nobody deserves to go out like that. I can't even imagine what the rest of their family is dealing with. But you do have in Hollywood, you have a lot of mental illness. You have a lot of these people's kids who don't know what genders they are. They're, it's which actress is it that they're like, oh, I have 3 trans kids, and you're like,
all of them?
Yeah, right. Fill in the blank. It's all of them. You're right, Adam. So it's definitely like something is seriously wrong in Hollywood, and that's my prayers to Rob Reiner's family. I just can't even imagine. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick break, and then we will be back with more. But I want to thank our sponsor. Actually, can you bring up the guys again? Control room. I want you guys to be on camera when we thank our sponsor, BlueChew. Okay.
Oh.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yep. Okay. I'm gonna read this. Okay. When it comes to performance, good enough isn't good enough. And that's exactly why BlueChew just raised the bar, introducing BlueChew Gold, the revolutionary 4-in-1 upgrade that targets both your brain and your body. Matt, I know you want to hear this. Okay, listen. Most blue pills only focus on blood flow, and we know it's only going one direction. BlueChew Gold goes further. It combines 2 proven ingredients for circulation, plus apomorphine and oxytocin. You know what that does? It enhances arousal, desire, and connection from the inside out. Yep. See, Adam's like, I know. Okay, well, Adam, listen. BlueChew Gold dissolves right under your tongue and starts working in as little as 15 minutes. And you don't have to, listen, this is a spice up your life kind of thing, okay? You don't have to have any sort of like problems or dysfunction. You can just have a fun Saturday night. We've got a special deal for our listeners. Matt's so embarrassed. You can get
like an espresso at the end of dinner. You want to wake up a little bit, you know?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Please don't have this after dinner. Please don't.
What are you talking about? That's the perfect time. Put your kids to bed, have dinner, put your kids to bed, and then
sprinkle it on your chocolate lava cake at the restaurant. 30 minutes later, here you go.
That's a different way of saying a stiff drink.
It's going to be a stiff something that night, all right? We've got a special deal for our listeners, 10% off with your first month of BlueChew Gold with code Sarah. That is promo code Sarah over at BlueChew.com. Democrats are now like crashing out over their obsession with defending illegal aliens who shouldn't be here. And I want to play for you guys. This is a Democrat Congresswoman from Arizona. She kind of has a Star Wars name. Is Yassamin Ansari. And she is very upset at President Trump. And she says that it is racist to not want illegal criminals in your country, I guess.
For me, that has been very difficult to reckon with in this moment when we have a Trump regime that is so deeply racist, that is going after every immigrant community. Nobody is immune to this, quite frankly, unless you are a white South African, the only group of people that is welcome to this country under our refugee policy now. And we are seeing, devastating and racist treatment of our Somali American community now, of our Afghan community, of course, the Latino community. But again, nobody has been immune to this.
Nobody has been immune to this. I mean, if you're here legally and you do things the right way, I'm pretty sure you're immune to it. I guess I should just ask you, Matt, first. Now, you are white, so maybe your opinion doesn't count. Immigrant, yes, you check that box, but you're white, so maybe your opinion is invalidated for being white because you just don't know the struggle of all of these Somalian frauds who are committing all of these crimes, funneling your taxpayer money over to terror groups. You just don't know the struggle. I mean, have you heard their side of it, actually?
Well, I think this is the issue, isn't it? That what we're seeing over and over again is people taking advantage of the system, and whether you like it or not, for the most part, people from Europe, and I'm not just saying white people from Europe, I'm saying all colors from Europe that come here tend to do it the right way. Mm-hmm. And that's because...
Why is that?
Well, it's mainly because we're raised with respect for law and order, and then when you come from a a country that is lawless, and you just don't. It's a cultural thing. I've said this over and over. In all fairness, it is a cultural thing. So they always say it's racist, but that's like kind of saying that everyone from England and everyone from France and everyone from Germany and anyone else that comes in from Europe is just white. And that's absolutely not true. And by the way, and what about Japan? What about the Asian countries? They don't, you know what I'm saying? So when you're talking about the Somali community, we know how lawless that is there and how they don't have any birth certificates. There's a massive issue with that. And there's the benefits fraud. So when people are calling that out, maybe have a little bit of self-reflection on that one.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Adam, I have to say, if I were looking at a group of people who, let's say they were, I used this example last week. Let's say they're all from like Sweden. We had a big influx of Swedes coming in through, somehow they made it through Mexico unscathed, okay, which they're going to stick out like sore thumbs. But let's just say they made it through Mexico unscathed. They came in through the border. They're here illegally or legally maybe. And then on top of that, they're committing all of these, they're committing fraud. They are stealing from taxpayers. They are violent. They are just, literally contributing nothing but bad to our country. I can say with absolute freaking certainty, I would be like, get them the hell out of our country. It just has nothing to do with the color of their skin. And yet these people cannot possibly fathom, like their brains have been broken. They can't fathom that, no, actually, as it turns out, we just want to get the criminals out of our country. It's really that simple.
It's true. Like there is a rubric, and we're talking about, are there good people and bad people? And it may be diminutive, it may be reductive, but the way we measure things, as polite society is, we have arguments about whether putting the shopping cart back makes you a good person or not. They are so far from having that conversation in some of these countries that we can't even begin to accept them on a daily basis, on an initial basis, right? They're not even at that point where it's like, well, you should open the door for women when they come in. We're battling things like, I don't think you should sleep with your first cousin. I don't think you should marry someone to get them citizenship. I think that doing things like abusing the system where you are is bad. We can't even begin to have a conversation we're trying to have of, we just want to have a polite society. We have to take 10 steps back and start with some basic moral issues before we start bringing these people in. And that is the issue. It's not a color thing. It is a culture thing.
Yeah. No, I love that. Adam's like, they're not, we want to tell them, open the door for a woman. They're like, I'm throwing the woman off the building. No, I'm stoning her because she looked at a man the wrong way. We are like light years away from each other, my friend. Adam, by the way, it looks like you got like a new cool setup. You look your light is like it's like angelic.
Well, you guys kept having me back on, so I got a new camera and some lighting, trying to be pretty with the pretty people.
You look
Is
so
it working?
fancy. Yeah. You look so fancy. Before we go, I do want to give you a chance to promote your book. Obviously, as I mentioned at the top of the program, Adam is everyone's favorite insurrectionist. He is the iconic lectern guy. And tell everyone where they can buy your book.
You can buy my book on my website, unlicenssedfurnishers.com. And next week, if you were in Phoenix, Arizona for AmFest, I'll be popping around all week long. So come say hi and take a picture and have a conversation.
Oh, great. I'm going to be there too.
Oh, I'll see you there.
Yeah. We'll see you there. We'll have to hang out. I get there late Thursday night, so we'll have to hang out.
Late Wednesday night for me.
Okay, perfect. And then Matt Marsden, tell everyone where they can find you.
You can find me at Matthew D. Marsden on YouTube and on X and on Instagram.
On all the things.
On all the things.
Matthew D. Marsden, because he's got a funny accent and he has to make things fancy by adding the D. But you can find him at Matthew D. Marsden. Make sure you subscribe. You can find me at AmericanBeautyBySarah.com. Go get some last-minute gifts for the woman that you love. You can buy them for men, too. I don't like you, but I'll take your money. AmericanBeautyBySarah.com. Thanks, guys.